Good Monday morning, everybody. My name is Eric Buhrendorf. You're watching Finance and Technology Insights with Brian and Eric. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2022. How's it going, Brian?
Good. Everything's good here. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Today's my older daughter's 9th birthday, so we had a little celebration this morning, which was nice. She's getting into that point in her life where she's FaceTiming with friends and text messaging, and she asked for a Nintendo Switch, so we got her one of those, which I'm hoping to be a slight beneficiary of, something to play. I haven't played Mario Kart in maybe a dozen years or so I'm looking forward to that. So that was, and she had a birthday party on Saturday, so that's what we were doing this weekend.
You're gonna have to practice during the day just to keep up with her on that stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, the new Nintendo has this like little itty bitty controller that they adapt to the mobile form factor, because it's like a tablet type device, and then you can cradle it, and then you can plug it into the TV, and the controllers on either side slide off and become the controller. And in my opinion, it looks like they're neither good as the mobile controller or as a standalone kind of TV controller. So it's kind of like I don't know, they didn't specialize. You know, we grew up with the kind of, everybody has the same controller, but the Switch seems to have like a left and right, and it's a different experience depending on which controller you pick up. I don't know. So we'll see how that works out, but it's kind of fun. She's getting into that age where every year she seems to be doing something more mature that, you know, is a little more interesting to the parents, you know?
Right. Yeah. And so what are your device controls on phone situation and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So we're a technology family. So the kids were born with a screen in their hand, basically. We're in the Apple ecosystem, and Apple has really great parent and family controls. So we can control the screen time, app access, when the kids want to download an app. Or I got a request over the weekend for, I think it was like, I don't know, $20. She wanted to buy this game called Roblox they're playing, and she wanted permission to buy virtual currency in the game, so I guess she could buy other things, like, I don't know, I don't even know what they're buying. I guess skins for their characters and levels or something like that. So yeah, I mean, they've been with technology from day one, and it's nice because they don't. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't have a Nintendo for a lot of years, and so, you know, there was kind of an obsession to try to go to Tommy's house down the street who has Nintendo, you know what I mean, or Atari back then. And then when I finally did get one as a teen, it was kind of like a thing, you know. It's we spent a lot of time on it because it was kind of a rare item. But I remember my friends who grew up, you know, always had the things. They enjoyed them, but it wasn't, you know, obsessive level, you know. So the girls are like that too. So they don't obsess over the technology. It's there when they want to use it, and, you know, they're happy to put it down. And the girls are into crafts. They do a lot of arts and crafts. So they actually split their time pretty well between the real and the virtual, so to speak.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. You want them to obviously learn the technology. You don't want them going into high school or colleges as, you know, not having seen the stuff before, but you want to make sure you're monitoring it, who they talk to and when they talk to. So that's a pretty good thing. I know my sister is going through that with my nephew, who's about 13. The guys are probably a little bit different. You have to handle it a little bit differently, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge for you. You got your work cut out for you your next few years.
Yeah, I mean, our parenting approach is we teach them about the world, and the lesson about each lesson about the world is age appropriate. So
Mhm.
not to expose them to the awfulness of the world, but um, just kind of in preparation, like we say things like, if you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable, let us know right away, or let an adult know right away. If anybody says anything that makes you feel, we start with that. And then we say things like, there's a lot of things on the internet that you're not going to like, and you're not going to want to see. And there's a lot of things you can't unsee. So, just go in knowing that. So that's kind of the way we deal with it. And we do, their devices are open, so they don't feel like they need privacy, so to speak, on the conversation side of things. So they don't seem to need to, there's no cloak and dagger. So it's a very, we're kind of very open about it. So, that's so far so good. And they're coming up with the technology. My the 9-year-old, for fun, if you can imagine this, for fun, makes PowerPoints.
Wow.
She just makes PowerPoint presentations, and she loves dragging pictures in there, and doing text boxes, and she loves playing with the fonts, and then she loves doing the presentation. And she always said, "Daddy, put this on the screen. I want, we're all doing TV time or something." She says, "Daddy, I want to show you my presentation."
Oh, that's really funny.
And of no prompting from us. So she's got a laptop, and she's,
Mhm.
so anyways, that was our weekend. How about you? Did you
Yeah.
go to Disney this weekend?
No, I did not. No, my mother was here. She's been staying with us for a little while now. She came, so if you remember, like the weekend of Martin Luther King Jr., that holiday, we went up there to visit her, and then the weather was kind of iffy, and we planned to stay the 3 days with no school on Monday. We ended up coming back on Sunday. So then we had the idea, well, why don't you just follow us back and stay with us for a little while? And that little while was turned out to be about 3 weeks, which was fine. It's good to have her here, and my son enjoyed it, so he got a lot of Grammy time. But
Oh,
she
that's
just
great.
left. She left yesterday, so she headed home. She liked it here. I mean, 3 weeks is a lot. I wouldn't want to be away from home for 3 weeks.
Right.
So you
And
think about mail, and
she's only in Albany anyways, right?
yeah, she's about 3 hours away. So in the winter, you want to make sure the house is, that's everybody's fear, that, that your roof collapses or caves in, or, some crazy
Right.
stuff like that, even though it's maybe not really rational, but that's everybody's concern. But yeah, she got back, and the driveway was cleaned out, and whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, so she should be pretty good there for the rest of the winter. It lasts a little bit longer up there, but we don't have any snow in the forecast, except a little bit for today. So
Yeah, I
so
saw
maybe the
Channel 8 just blinged on my phone that schools are starting to announce early dismissals. So we'll see. I know, it's no secret you're in Southington. I'm in West
Mhm.
Hartford. So
Yeah.
although you don't have school, well, your son is in
Yeah,
childcare.
yeah, he's in full day daycare, so he goes more than a full day. He goes in from about 6:30 to 3, so he's got a long
Oh,
day.
so
And my wife teaches high school in Cheshire, so she may be out early, although they were closed on Friday and nothing really happened. So I don't know. Were you closed on Friday for the
yeah,
school?
we were closed on Friday, and it was a big nothing burger.
Yeah.
So it's funny how our superintendent is, I think, beloved by the town in large part, and he's very vocal, and we get his frequent emails, and it's all very kumbaya. And I think sometimes a little bit of that goes into decision making, and it's like, bad call. It's like, it's classic. Superintendent making a bad call on weather is so classic. So
Yeah.
I don't fault him for it. I'm sure it's a big responsibility to make sure that some kid doesn't wipe out on icy sidewalk or something like that. But I woke up. I was kind of surprised to see the snowflakes, light accumulation, and then to see the notice that maybe we're going to get early dismissal. So we'll see. Maybe one or both of us are going to get a half day.
Yeah, maybe we'll see about that. I know yeah, it's an interesting thing with the school closings, right? Because, the old timers all talk about how they, walk to school and 3 feet of
Uphills
snow
both
up.
ways
Yeah.
and 3 feet of
Yeah.
snow.
And I get it. There's something to toughness, but at the end of the day, what are you trying to prove? Like what's the point of putting buses on the road if they're not safe? It's like, just stay home. I mean, they
Yeah,
just did it for a year anyway. They got these kids have the laptops. A day at home isn't going to kill them. So,
I
um,
agree. But I remember I think last summer there was conversation about how they were going to treat snow days post COVID.
mhm,
And for me, I'm a technologist. It's like a snow day on the academic calendar should be a thing of the past, since working from home is, at least for first grade through high school. It just seems like the snow day should just be a thing of the past and it shouldn't impact the school calendar. But still, change is so hard to move into people's psyche sometimes. And the nostalgia that people have for the quote unquote snow day
right.
seems to be lingering.
And there is
So these
something,
days,
there is something to that mentally being 10 years old and finding out that there's a waking up to a snow day and that you get to go outside and make a snowman and have a snowball fight with the neighbors. There's something to that. So
yeah, Brian, I don't disagree with that. And for that, like, what would be the problem in, the kids could get full day credit and still operate maybe in 4 hours worth of work.
sure.
Early dismissals and early and late openings still give the kids credit for the day. The
Correct.
statutory school day. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So the snow day could still be a snow day. It's just a virtual snow day. I mean,
mm,
it's giving the kids a late opening virtually and or a late or early closing, so they can have that the joys of the snow day. But still, I'm looking at it from don't forget, when they log a snow day, I don't know how many they bank before they start extending the school year into June. Do you know what that number is like?
I think it's different. They're going county by county right now. So in Connecticut, uh, group by group, I guess they're trying to do. So they're trying to align districts together a little bit more. So I think it depends on what county you're in. Um,
Right.
so I know my sister who teaches in New York, what they do is they have 2 snow days for that reason. Like, all right, you get the joy of having a snow day. And then it's like, all right, on the third one, we're virtual. You get your 2 snow days and then after
Oh,
that log in.
right.
And so I think that's probably a fair way to do it.
That's I think that's a fair, reasonable,
Mhm,
practical way of doing that. Sure, you still get that fantasy joy feeling of a snow
mhm.
day, but certainly extending the school year into June for nostalgic reasons. I'm just like, come
That's no good.
on.
And teachers will tell you those days aren't productive anyway, especially if they've got state or national exams that are scheduled a certain day and the kids know they're already done with all their tests. I mean, going to school on June 27th or 28th after everything's done is just a recipe for disaster anyway. So that's not a good
Right.
plan. Yeah.
So, and what about technology parenting? Your son, I'm sorry, I forget. Your son's 3.
Yeah. Yep. Before in April.
So
Yep.
he's
So
picked up a touch screen before, I'm sure.
he does. Yeah. He knows, he actually, so he was in my bed the other morning. He very rarely is he kind of allowed in, but this was kind of a weekend thing. And he had a little issue and he was awake at like 5. So I was like, all right, just come in our bed. And he had grabbed my phone and actually made a phone call, called somebody I knew. And I saw it like just the glow of it. And I had to grab it and turn it off because I didn't have any kind of lock on it or whatever. So like, all right, well,
That's
he
so
knows how to
funny.
do that. It wasn't intentional. I don't think he said I'll make a phone, but he was just pressing buttons and that happened. So, but no, he's very well aware of what shows are on Disney Plus and what's on YouTube and what's recorded on YouTube TV. So, because with my grandmother around, or my mother around, his grandmother around, he had to instruct her like, oh, I want to watch this show that's on Disney Plus, no, whatever.
Right.
That show's halfway done. You have to rewind it to the beginning, or oh, that one's recorded on YouTube TV. You got to go get it there, and so he knows how to get at that stuff. So it's funny.
My wife, who is not a technology centric person at all. She's so happy that I am for the both of us, but like she's she's had an iPhone for, I think, since iPhones came out in 2007. But before we got married, every time she got a new phone, she would lose all of her photos. And if you have even like the slightest configuration set on an iPhone, your data and your photos will just live in your iCloud account, and every time you get a new iPhone, or it just pulls down to your devices. So when we met, she didn't know anything about her iCloud account, and she was just constantly losing just all of her photos. So she doesn't have, I've got a trove of digital photos dating, I think, since like 99, 2000, something like that. And she, her photo historical record kind of starts when, when we kind of took up together. So and then to that vein, what's my point? So our daughter used to format her phone, on an iPhone. I don't know how you're an Android user,
I
right?
am. Yep.
So on an iPhone, if you enter, it's configurable the amount, I think, but the default is maybe like 10 times or something. But if you enter an incorrect passcode on to unlock your phone, the phone will automatically format as a protection measure. And our daughter used to format my wife's phone all the time because she just didn't care. She'd like leave the phone down, and our daughter would pick it up and just start banging on the screen, and and she'd be like, "Oh, my phone's not working. I can't use my phone." She would just have like a new, like, it would be like, "Welcome to iPhone," and it would like be the setup.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but kids pick that stuff up quick. They can teach us in a hurry because it's so new. It's fresh to them. They don't have any of those preconceived ideas about the way something should work or shouldn't work. I mean, a basic
Digital
phone,
natives.
yeah, and a basic phone call without video is like, kids don't like understand that. They're like, "Oh, you're talking to Grammy? Let me see the phone." It's like, no, it's just a phone call. It's not. There's nothing to see.
Right.
But, yeah, that seems weird to them. It's like, if you can call them on a video, why call them without video, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love it.
yeah, it's funny. But they
So what's new in business? What happened last week?
yeah, still doing a lot of video stuff. We didn't this is probably after we did our podcast last week, but we did a few TikTok videos, experimenting with that a little bit. Just
Great. I saw that.
the idea of doing some of that format, the phone format, because then you can share it to the reels, and then it'll show up in Facebook, and you can put it on the YouTube shorts. So that was just kind of an extreme beta mode, but trying to get those under a minute, but yet say something productive. I mean, obviously TikTok is not the most productive platform typically, but to be able to just get something out there sort of quickly, and just another way to reach people or reach potential customers, or really just educate. I mean, you're not trying to pitch somebody in 57 seconds, but so that was kind of fun. I'll continue to experiment that. I ended up starting a separate YouTube channel, just kind of a sandbox to play around with that, so it didn't affect my main one. But
For your shorts, would you
yes,
call
my
it?
shorts, yeah. So
Right.
I was just investing shorts, but yeah, I don't know. One of the videos over the weekend had like 250 views, which I guess is pretty decent
That's awesome.
for a channel that just started. But
You're an inspiration, man. I love it. When you sent me those, I just, it's so cool to see you just kind of, you're doing the thing. I love it.
yeah, we'll see if it's productive or not. The problem is, you do that stuff for so long to find out if it, does anything. And it's amazing all the data and information that's available, but yet you still don't, until it translates into something meaningful, either by making a change or something business wise, it's hard to see what, the effectiveness of it, I guess you'd say. You can
Sure.
see the number of people viewed and how they found it and how long they watched it and all that kind of stuff, but it's not like somebody's going to see your TikTok video and call you and book an appointment right away. I guess it's possible, but
Are there,
it's
for the content creation on the, they call, the people who create content, they call them content creators, right? So on the content creator side of the dashboard, is there an analytics tool that you can see, like, I know like as a Facebook user, we're technically creating content, but not from the kind of advertising side of the house. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know yet, I mean, all these social networks are just advertising agencies. Um, are you in the content creators dashboard, so to speak?
Yeah, I am. I'm more familiar with the YouTube data than I am probably with any other platform. I mean, I know I can go on TikTok and Instagram and just look at the number of views and that kind of stuff, but I haven't really gotten too much on the back. I
Oh,
guess I
so
don't
you
really
may
care
be,
that much, but
oh, okay. So you may be on the user creation side of the house.
yeah,
So you may not be in the kind of the creator side. And
right. It's
they
like,
may not have it. I don't know. Like
yeah,
does are you able to configure, do you know what a call to action is, a CTA?
yeah, yep.
Do you is there like some interface in TikTok to create a call for the viewers and listeners? A call to action is anytime you see a video or ad or anything, and it's just some pronounced button to click here, and then it takes you to a form sign up or so a landing page or an external page that further details the information. That's called a call to action or a CTA. So when you create in TikTok, is there like a section where it says, do you want to configure a CTA or call to action if somebody clicks
You
on your
know,
video?
I think that's only probably like on a paid advertisement type of thing. But what you can do is you can put a couple links in your TikTok profile. So that's what people say, for more information, click on my profile. And
Oh, gotcha.
you can have a link to your YouTube channel, or you can use like I use Linktree, like, and you can use something like that'll
Got
give
it.
them that link to Linktree to go to everything else. And Instagram is pretty similar too, but they can always, like the video or subscribe and follow and all that kind of stuff.
Got
Um,
it.
yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you're an inspiration, man. I love it. I love seeing you tinker with these things. I'm just not much of an audio video kind of geek. So it's not the kind of geekery I do kind of for funsies, but I mean, I get it. I love it. And I so respect you and the people who do it. My father and I, my father's kind of an amateur photog and a shutterbug, he used to call himself. And he loves buying the cameras and the equipment, and he loves tinkering with it. He's doing a lot of drone stuff now. And, he wanted to launch a YouTube channel for my aviation, for our flying, the flying that we do. And we have some videos recorded, but I told him, like, Dad, I just don't want to sit in front of Adobe Premiere or iMovie for, 40 hours chopping up and editing a video. So I tip my hat to you guys who are into that. I mean, I think it's a cool craft. I just personally not how I like to spend my time.
Right. And it's not something I would have necessarily been into, yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, I'm probably more like you, hardware or software or, spreadsheet type of person, but, it's just fun. You look for, certainly during the pandemic, that was the way to communicate with people. Maybe not
Right,
TikTok, but you had to
right.
get your message out in different formats without, your standard networking meetings or business after hours, that kind of stuff. So more of a
I could tell you
necessity than than
I could tell
anything.
you the way I like to spend my time. Last week, I, every day I get hammered by would be vendors or service providers wanting to
Mhm.
sell me some tool or service, something. And I I was solicited by a vendor who has you know what Calendly is?
Yes.
So
Yeah, I
for
use
the
them.
viewer, oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the viewers and listeners, Calendly is a pretty common, if not de facto, leader in the scheduling service space. Microsoft has a product called Bookings that comes with
Mhm.
Office 365. I used that for a little bit because it just came with our suite. And then I went to Calendly because it had better integration. But what it does is it allows you to present your calendar to external users so they can book time on your calendar. And it's helpful for sales, it's helpful for service, it's helpful for when you're just kind of interfacing with a lot of external contacts. And instead of having to, it solves the problem of the back and forth of, hey, I want to get some time with you. When are you available? And then you look at your calendar and then you transpose, dates and times that you're available in an email. And you say, here are the times I'm available. And then they come back and say, here are the times I'm available. And then you confirm times that you're available together, and somebody creates a meeting. Calendly just says, here's my schedule, click this, and it takes them to a link and a calendar with your actual availability. And then they can, the process of booking goes right on to your calendar and their calendar. It's a nice little efficient tool. So I was on Calendly for a while. So if you go to our website, evernetco.com, and you're a prospective business owner or business manager and you're looking for a new IT company, you go to our website, and we call it the discovery call, which is a free, call where I meet with a prospective client, just listening to the pain points in the business, and that's a discovery call, we call it. And so the process of booking a discovery call, you go to the website, you click at the very bottom, discovery call, and then bam, you get my Calendly. And it was working well, but Calendly didn't integrate with our practice management software. And that's the software that we predominantly run and operate our business out of. And, oh, excuse me. That's embarrassing, getting a phone call. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Real professional here at Finance and Technology Insights. So anyways, thinking that I was good to go, this vendor solicited me and said, hey, we have a calendar booking product that integrates with your practice management software. And I kind of like shrugged it off at first. And then I got another, I think they solicited me through a chat on LinkedIn or Facebook. And then he followed up with an email and said, here's a link to a product demo that you can see. And I clicked it and I started watching it, and it was a podcast demo kind of interview of the product. And I started watching it. I said, oh, wow, having that integrate with my practice management software actually would bring me pretty good value. And the price was on parity with Calendly. So I just kind of did a deep dive. So anyways, long story short, I spent basically three full business days last week learning about the product, reviewing the product, and then testing the product, and then making a decision on it, and then implementing the product with my staff. So that's the kind of thing that I like to do. Finding new ways. Oh yeah, are you on my website?
I am, yeah. So this is not Calendly, right? You made the change already?
Your screen is a little slower so I'm not seeing in real time. Did you hit the discovery button?
Yeah, I'm down here. So I have scheduled date and time with EVERNET discovery call.
Yeah, thanks for giving that plug there. Yeah, let me just follow you. So yeah, you go to the website, you scroll down, schedule discovery call, and then it takes you there. So there's a perfect example. So that is schedule a date and time for your EVERNET discovery call with the sales and accounts team. And then you can see that not all days are available, and that is reading my calendar in real time.
Right.
So the days that are not available, that I don't have no availability, and you can set rules, as so you can have buffer times. So people aren't kind of going back to back appointments and stressing you out. So you can say like, give me 30 minutes after every appointment as buffer time. So 2 appointments can be kind of bumper to bumper. And this software is great because everything we do is out of our practice management software, including kind of the sales process. So, and I can talk ad nauseum about why that's important, but in summary, you want to, anytime you spend on a client's account, you really should be tracking your time on that. So your practice management software keeps track of how much you earn, so to speak, your cost metric as a human resource. And then we record all of our time spent on client matters, and then you can actually run profitability reports at the account level, and you can see with a high degree of accuracy your profitability for all of your clients. And it's important to capture your sales data, because then you can start deriving what is an incredibly important metric called the cost of customer acquisition. and most people don't know how much it actually costs them to get a new customer. And I don't know if you ever watch Shark Tank. Do you ever watch Shark Tank?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So the sharks, pretty often, I haven't watched it in a number of years because it kind of got repetitive and uninteresting for me. But when I was watching it for the first few seasons, the customer acquisition cost was one of the metrics that if a founder came into that room and didn't know what their customer acquisition cost was, it was almost like a non-starter for them. Because if you don't understand that growing a business is basically coming up with a product and service to address an addressable market, and then knowing what the cost is to operate in that market, which is, the customer acquisition cost is really important, because then it's just like, okay, well, if our product costs, $5, but it costs us $6 to acquire a customer, that's like a non-starter, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
little tangent there, way big tangent, but
No,
anyways, huh?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot to cover with that alone. I mean, we've thought about that a lot in our business too, because we have to deal with vendors or wholesalers or whatever you want to call them. So I actually know so one of the things that I do is I have a separate Calendly, it's such a hard word to say, the link that's
The
just
LY
for,
at the end.
yeah, I know. Only took me like a year to realize that last L was there. But so one of the things that I do is I have a separate calendar link for those, wholesalers or whatever. And it's at like low value hours, so like Friday afternoons or something like that. And that's the only time that's available. So it's like, all right, 3:30 on a Friday, I'll listen to your pitch about, whatever. So
Right.
those, I'm not going to take up a prime, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday or something like that. So I've set
Right.
up a separate link for them. And those are the only times that are available. It's either like late in the day stuff, 4:30, something like that. So I have that. I also know some other advisors who've actually made that kind of a paid thing. So it's kind of funny,
Yep.
like you get into the psychology of it. It's like, all right, you're trying to sell me a product. Would you pay $5 to get on my calendar for, 15 minutes? Or, you could obviously go up from there, but it
Oh,
kind of
that's
puts that,
interesting. So
yeah, get into
for
the
the people
psychology of it.
soliciting them, they have to pay for their time.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of interesting way to do that. I've heard some people do that. So,
That's interesting.
yeah. And then, one of my suggestions for you for content, and I've started to go down this path with some of the mutual fund or ETF representatives. It's like, all right, you want to tell me about your funds and tell me why I should be investing in your funds, and let's do it live. In the words of the great Bill O'Reilly, right? We'll do it live. Let's just get it on let's just get it on a Zoom, and we'll record it. We'll have our conversation, but we'll put it out to the YouTube channel, put it out to Facebook group, and so that becomes your new content, right? So instead of, oh geez, I gotta meet with this vendor for half an hour, it's like, all right, I'm producing a piece of content. I'm gonna show my clients what I'm doing for them when I'm not in front of them.
Are you setting me up right now with this?
Setting you up? No, why?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Did I tell you? Did I tell you what my idea was for our EVERNET YouTube channel?
Well, we talked about it a little bit, yeah, and that's why I'm bringing this up. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's,
you're setting me up. All right, got it.
yeah.
So, anyways, sorry, not to hijack you. I just thought you were kind of like segueing. You were building the segue for me.
Yeah, take it.
So anyway, but what you're talking about is yeah. So the other thing that kind of came out of development for me last week was I haven't launched, you have a YouTube channel for Northshire Consulting, for example, and you're showing great success, if you ask me, on that effort. I haven't done a YouTube channel. I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel for my company EVERNET for quite some time now, but I didn't know what to put out. I didn't want to just put self-serving content or basically advertisement roles, why EVERNET's the greatest business and IT services and consulting company out there. I just didn't want to, I haven't done anything because I didn't know what the content model would be. And as I was researching this product last week to replace Calendly, I'm watching literally a kind of it was a YouTube video and it was I think it was another consulting company that was interviewing these guys. Time Zest is the product that I ended up going with. And they just basically, it was the sales executives and the sales team at Time Zest that was basically doing a product demo. And so I said, oh, you know what? I could probably do that with the vendors that my clients use, and just schedule demos and just get demos and reviews of their product. I mean, it's not a novel idea. I don't know why it was, I'm sometimes late to the dance, but anyway, so that's what I've been doing. That's what I was starting to do last week, was kind of solicit vendors of our clients and say, hey, we're going to launch a YouTube review channel. Do you want to spotlight your product?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go. It's a win for everybody. I mean, they probably like getting their name out there for content, right? That's something that they can do, that you're going to record it and do the work, and I guess post it and all that kind of stuff. So it helps them with their SEO and their backlinks and all that kind of stuff. You're doing work you would have done anyway. So it's not,
right.
It's not a high edit, value. You're just going to put it up there, a little intro or whatever. And your clients.
So did you say that you are doing that with the fund managers, or that's just an idea that you have?
I've done a couple of those. I've had, I've even done a couple like book type interviews. So people that have come out with books. So I wanted to do more of that fourth quarter. I just didn't get around to it. But one day I just went on Amazon, and what I did is I went to like the finance books that I did. So they have recently released, but then they have like coming in the next 30 or 90 days.
Oh, everybody wants to promote, right?
Yeah. So I just went through, and like 5 that were interesting, I just found them somewhere. And the one that I wanted ended up like just responding to me on Twitter. I just found him on Twitter and sent him a direct message, and we ended up connecting. He was a guy in Oslo of all places. And he wrote this book called Trillions that was, it basically chronicled the whole index fund revolution and how that all sort of came about. So, but yeah, that was the first one I did. I thought it went pretty well. But yeah, and then you can kind of slice those up, and I've used bits of his content in other pieces and things like that. So
did you have to go through the structure of contracting or getting a sign? Sorry, again, I should turn that off. Signed release.
No, we didn't really do any of that. I mean, he had done a bunch of them after. It was kind of cool to see him. Like a few weeks later, he was on CNBC and he was on Bloomberg. And I noticed going back, like if I go back to my views, like he'd be on CNBC for like 5 minutes, and then people would go to YouTube and search, and then they'd find my video that was like half an hour long.
That's
it was
awesome.
Like longer form content. So, yeah, that was, I'd like to do more of those. And he was like a perfect guest. Obviously it all depends. Those shows are built around the guest, but he's a very funny guy. He's a great follow on Twitter, because he does some really funny stuff. Super smart guy. But
how are the views on that video that you did?
They're pretty good. It wasn't the greatest, I guess production wise, it was okay. I did some sort of fun things on there. But it was funny, the way I recorded it, like my piece didn't come out that great, but I had like a full recording of him. So I ended up cutting out like some of my questions and just kind of did like a screen transition. And so he'd answer something and you wouldn't hear my question, which is fine. It flowed okay, but it wasn't the way I'd drawn it up. So it's like 90% him on camera, which it should be anyway.
Right.
But no, he did a really good job with it. He's a funny guy, but yeah, the views on that were okay. And I don't do any of the, the Amazon like referral links or anything like that. I don't want to get involved in that. It's like, if you want to go buy it, but I'm not going to make my 2 cents off your book purchase, So I don't do any of that, but I would
when
definitely
you start getting 30 to 40 to 100,000 views per video, you might rethink that.
I mean, compliance wise, it's an issue or something. I don't want to lose that sort of like objectivity anyway. Like I just wouldn't want to do that. If it was something I ended up doing like full time and I was doing, 5 book reviews a week or something like that, then maybe, but right now it's not, it'd be more hassle for the few pennies that I'd get.
Yeah, I kind of see what you mean on that. I mean, a lot of this software that we see in our clients that we advise and support for our clients, there's a lot of partner programs and referral programs where, if a law firm or dental practice buys the product, you can get kind of a kickback. We don't I don't think we do. We don't participate in any of those right now, because it's nice to be impartial, and it's kind of nice to say, these are all the products that are available, and this is why. These are the, we like to say, like, this is what we think you should focus on and to solve your problems, rather than kind of being steered. So I get what you mean on that.
Yeah, and it's a big deal in our profession, because there's the fiduciary advisors that actually have to work in that capacity. They don't take any other fees except what their client pays for them. And then there's a whole other side of the business that's allowed to do that. And the way we do business is like 10% of the industry. The rest of it is, clients are paying them for advice, and then they're turning around and selling them a product that they get. It just, I don't know. For me, that like blows my mind that's even, the one, clients would tolerate it, and two, people would want to be in that business. If somebody's paying you for advice, you shouldn't, that's all they should be paying. It shouldn't be a commission based. You shouldn't be in front of somebody with 3 solutions and one of them pays you more than the other 2. Like,
Right.
that to me like blows my mind. But a lot of businesses are like that. It's more acceptable in some than others, I guess. But for ours, hopefully it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure. Everybody's deserving of the best solution, best product, best best fit for their need, rather than somebody getting, lining their pockets because they can steer you. I would say that, we've had, I started my business, I always forget, 15, 17 years ago. We still have our very first client, and many of our very first clients. And I would only like to say that that's probably because of the integrity that we've always. I started the business because, my former employer, kind of pushed me to sell something that I didn't think was the best fit for our client at the time. And I just can't. I knew early on I couldn't consult like that. I couldn't help people like that. So
yeah.
Totally get what you're.
I will say it probably takes a little bit longer to get a business up and running that way. Like, there are a lot of ways to take shortcuts and take paths to get, a quick cut or a quick commission or whatever. So financially, it takes a little bit longer to do things right, but the staying power, the longevity of your client relationships, the quality of the business, all of that stuff is totally worth it.
Yeah, I mean, in the service economy, the service itself is rarely unique. I mean, what you do, what we do for our clients. If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, your service isn't unique. That's not the what's unique is the relationship, the trust relationship we build with our clients. And to me, that's the currency, and that's the most valuable thing that we protect. And not everybody operates like that, but good on them, I guess. And when you discover that your IT company is sleazy and doing you wrong, give us a call.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And to a lot of vendors and products, to their credit, a lot of them will have those kind of dual structures where they'll say, okay, if you want, this product costs $100 to your clients, and then we'll pay you 10, or if you just want to have it straight clean, offer it to your clients for $90. A lot of, in our business, it's not quite like that, is clean, but I know in some other businesses, people that I've talked to, they're like, okay, we appreciate that you don't want any compensation. So we have a clean version of it, or a clean share or something like that. And then I think that's a competitive advantage, because then you can offer it at a lower cost than maybe somebody down the street might.
It's true. I mean, but look at me, I'm not flip-flopping. I'm nodding to the wholesale retail paradigm. Whenever you walk into a store, every single thing on those store shelves was acquired by that store for less than you're about to pay for it.
Sure.
So the value proposition for the retailer is bringing the products to you in a venue that brings you usefulness. So, and in our relationship with our, we do resell products, we do resell services. Um, so I would like to compartmentalize that with, our price, all the products and services that we resell. For example, you can Google every single one of them and see what the retail price is. And for that reason, our pricing is always aligned with retail. And but the kind of the other side of the house, I think, is the, partnerships with vendors that, try to say, like, get us in front of your clients for a bigger kind of cut of their contract in competition with the others. So it's kind of like, how do you be the same and how do you be different? If I'm not sure I'm making any sense, but
No, you are. I mean, there's a difference between, hey, put us in front of your clients and we'll give you, a set of Ranger tickets or a couple airline tickets somewhere, which you're laughing, but it obviously does happen. It does.
it's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's interesting how to kind of think of that constructively, how that's different than the wholesale retail paradigm versus kickbacks, I
mhm.
guess. So that's interesting. In that context, I I've thought on it, but it was so easy. I don't know how my mind kind of differentiates. I mean, I think maybe it's because the products and services that we resell are, like I said, searchable, easily searchable. So you can take any product that we put on a quote for our client, and you can literally Google the exact product and then see what the retail price is, and then you'll see our quote. It's exactly the same thing. Or sometimes we have an incentive. We are transparent with our clients, though, when we resell products, for example, that the value we do charge kind of like a shipping and handling that can make the products that we resell feel like there's kind of a premium to purchasing them through us. But there's always a value proposition. Why would our the clients who buy their products through us, they're benefiting from having us handle the logistics and the coordination. So that's what the fee of the shipping and handling pays for. We're totally transparent, and we're completely agnostic with our clients, and whether they buy through us or they buy on their own. Because if they're paying us for the recommendation or the consultation of what products. So that's our primary business model, is the service and intellectual service, so to speak. And we have some clients to say, thank you for the recommendation, we'll let you know when it comes in. and that's fine. I can't tell you how many times we've shown up on site and the client has ordered the wrong product, which wasn't exactly what we recommended. And then they either have to pay us for our time in bringing that product up to speed. Like, I don't know if you know, but like Microsoft used to sell like a home version of Windows and a
Yeah.
pro version. And the home version didn't join to a corporate network. So you always had to upgrade it. If you had a home version, you had to upgrade it to the pro version. Well, that for us back then, for us to do that was a couple hours of time. So, and our hourly rate far exceeded what our shipping and handling would have cost if they acquired that product through us. You know what I mean? So
They used to have the teacher and student edition, right? Which was like a skinny
Teacher.
down version of all that. So people used to get that thinking they were, and
Yeah.
then it had what was it? Microsoft Works, right? What was like the knockoff
Microsoft
of
Works.
yeah, it was like the knockoff of the Office stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess you want to come down to the point where any sort of additional compensation or anything you might get doesn't influence your decision or put you down a path where you're not implementing the right solution, which is something hopefully you wouldn't do anyway.
For all the business owners out there, if you're twirling your mustache while you're contemplating how to structure your fee engagements with your clients, maybe you're not doing it right. I don't know. If you're really thinking about your client's best interest first, and then making sure that you can monetize and run a business doing it. That's always been my approach. Are we helping people first, and then is there a fair market value in being able to run a profitable business that we can grow and continue to reinvest in growing and becoming a better product, blah, blah, blah. So a little kumbaya there for business management.
Yeah. And then, I guess to wrap up that point too, is there's certainly people, if they're getting compensation back from sort of product, a lot of times they'll offset their hourly rate or their project rate, and they'll say, hey, normally to do this, project, it's $1,000, but ABC, product gave us $200 commission. So we're going to charge 800 or something like that. There's certainly folks that do it that way too.
Transparency and fair
Yeah.
value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you want to talk about news?
Yeah, sure. I can pull up
we're on
our
the tail end of
flipboard here
this.
if there's something that in there that you wanted to talk about.
So for the viewers out there, we use flipboard.com. We have a magazine. I think they call them magazines. I really should find out that that's the case. That's what they call
Yeah,
them. But
magazines, I think.
is it a magazine? A flipboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is called a flipboard magazine. We have a flipboard magazine that we curate and pin news articles to that Brian and I find interesting throughout the week. And it seems like I'm kind of happy with how the show structure is kind of formulating. We're starting with the catch up and how we're doing over the weekend, family and personal stuff, and then we go into any business development and business stuff that we find interesting the previous week, and then we finish up with the news, what we find interesting in the news. I'm pulling us up here. I see I pinned a couple here. What do you got?
Yeah, and I do have it shared on our screen too. We do have a Facebook group. I'm sure over time we'll get better at Eric's a little bit better on the Flipboard. I do a lot of Facebook group stuff. True. But over time we'll get some carryover or crossover, or maybe we won't. Maybe that's okay too. But so we do have both things going on. It looks like from the stuff you flipped in here, we're on the same track. I mean, from a lot of, as we always talk about, there's a lot of areas where our worlds collide. Where the Peloton's up big today because there's rumors of a buyout from Amazon or Nike, or maybe even a dark horse there. So that's an area of science and technology.
I saw the rumors that were talking about Apple picking it up, and I mean, immediately I was like, I mean, it's a premium product, and Apple's in premium space, but I just don't see it. I just don't see them wanting to get into exercise equipment. But you're saying that maybe I could see maybe Amazon picking them up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's probably a little bit more natural fit. They could tie the membership into their Prime, so to speak, because their Prime membership went up. Now it's $139.
Yeah, but more than that. I mean, obviously Apple's a consumer electronics company, so they certainly have the know-how to run, a hardware products game for sure. Of course, I just feel like it's it's more Amazon-ish to have, because I don't know, what Amazon Selects are?
No.
Amazon Selects, it's like, there's so many reports on, like, it's really kind of the sleazy side of Amazon. What they do is they have all the analytics. They know what products have the widest margins and sell the best. And like, have you ever bought batteries from Amazon that were branded Amazon? Right. You know what I mean? They go into these spaces. It's crazy. They go into these spaces where, a vendor or manufacturer it's their unique product per se, but with, lacking a patent or whatever. And then Amazon just I don't want to say counterfeit, because that implies illegal illicit activity, but they basically copy it and then they put it on, and they call it Amazon Select or something. And then we show up and, and we're like, you look at the two different branded products, and if they're all the same, you just buy the cheaper one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the Peloton acquisition would be interesting. I mean, I think with Apple, they could, obviously they have all the watch stuff, and they have the phone, which from a technology standpoint, I think would integrate a little bit better. But yeah, I think it's probably a better fit with Amazon, because it's still, even though the revenue is coming from the subscription, it's still very much a hard, you got to be shipping bikes and stuff like that, which was more in Amazon's wheelhouse.
I mean, look at it. I mean, but then they have to consider, like, are they going to do treadmills? Are they going to do Stairmasters? Are they going to do bikes? I just don't see Apple doing that. I mean, if they were going to buy, I'm surprised, if anything, they didn't buy, like, Garmin. I have not Garmin, but like Aria. Is Aria a company? I have a smart scale that has an app and it's Wi-Fi connected. I bought it 10 years ago, and I think that company ended up getting picked up by maybe Fitbit or something. And there's another one called With Things, I think. But if Apple was going to get into, like, the health hardware space, to complement the watch and the analytics. I would have thought that they'd be buying or making smart scales, blood pressure cuffs,
Yeah.
blood ox things,
Right.
but I just don't see them getting into exercise equipment.
Yeah. I'm in the Garmin ecosystem for that stuff. I wear the Garmin watch, Garmin scale. I have the Garmin heart rate monitor, and that stuff is all like most of the, not that I'm on that level, but you see a lot of the high level triathletes or Olympians, and they're usually Garmin. They're not wearing their Apple Watch. They're wearing Garmin stuff. So,
Yeah. I just saw
but
an article. I didn't pin it, but I just saw an article, or no, it was a video on YouTube by CNBC. CNBC has a bunch of like 12 to 20 minute videos that they do that I find interesting. But they just did one that was like they actually did the calculus on how accurate the calorie tracking was for the Apple Watch, and they're like, and I think the thing is like it's not that accurate, but so that's cool. Are you a runner?
yeah, I was more a long time ago than I am now. I don't do too much now, but yeah, a long time ago I was, many
Cool.
moons ago.
I will admit
But,
that I did
I like my Garmin watch. I got that when I was running a lot more. What's nice about those is anytime there's been any issue, I've sent it back and they will send it out. They won't even ask questions, And I'm
Yeah.
the guy who's always like trying to explain like that. Oh no, I didn't like smash it with a hammer. It's like, here's what happened. And they don't care. But
That's cool.
I've had like a
Garmin's
couple bands break, nothing out of the ordinary, but you have to send the whole watch back and they just, they send you a new one. Obviously they're not, fixing it and stuff. But yeah, I
That's
like
cool.
the Garmin stuff. And for me, it does appear to be the most accurate. Obviously they got their start doing the GPS and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a natural transition for them on the watch side.
The article I pinned on Amazon raising its price $20 a year to $139 now, Amazon
Yeah,
Prime.
that's a big deal. That is a big deal. But I don't
Did you
think
see
it's
my
gonna.
comment?
Yeah, we have bellwether for inflation. I mean, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the stuff that gets you on the budgets. The one that got me was Netflix, because I really do think that will hurt them. I mean, once you get into that $20 range, it's like there's not that much that's great on there.
Yeah,
and
but isn't it a bellwether for? So my comment is that Amazon raising their I mean, they started when it was $99 a year, wasn't it? Wasn't
Yeah.
that the magic number?
Mhm.
And I remember they went up to 110, and now they're going up to 139.
Yeah.
And so my comment is that if there ever were a bellwether for inflation, it's got to be Amazon Prime, price increases. And I forgot Netflix increased was it last month or so they announced a price increase.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, I saw I don't know, one of the comedians, I think it was Jim Gaffigan or something. He was like, wouldn't it be great if all these streaming services just all bundled together and called it one thing, like cable or something, right? We went down this path. Everybody wanted this. Remember John McCain talking about like a la carte, and you should be able to buy whatever you want and not be forced into some bundle. It's like, yeah, when you start adding up all the different services or whatever, we're probably better off when we just had it through cable with one bill a month.
I would only argue that having them be separate companies kind of supercharges innovation, because
Yes.
I've always poo-pooed and shunned cable television because the Comcast controller and the menus and the experience, and then the company and their fees, like it just was a bad experience. And having your quote unquote cable amalgamation amount to a whole bunch of streaming services, they have to compete to be better. And I think that would be my comment to, we're probably paying more or the same as what a cable subscription service would be, but at least there's competition now. So now,
right.
Competition breeds excellence. So
right. And I think the quality is a lot better now. I mean, most TV shows are like, they're movie quality, which you used to have to go to the movies to see. But I mean, it's like some of these shows now, and the production value and the special effects and all that kind of stuff, it's like light years ahead of where it was. And
totally.
The assumption with, you look at these streaming services and you're multiplying it out time by 12 months or whatever, but you don't have to do that. You can have Netflix for 3 months, catch up on all your shows, and then kill it for 9 months and come back.
True.
Like a lot of people just have that kind of stuff like through the winter or something. And then in the summer, they just, they cancel it. They turn their HBO off because they're not watching TV. And,
I do that with YouTube TV, I think
Mhm.
$65 a month for effectively a cable television subscription. And I only do it for football because
Right.
NFL makes it way too hard to consume their product. I
Mhm.
hate that about the NFL. I really do. But yeah, after the Super Bowl, I'll be canceling YouTube TV, $65 a month until August, just because that's the only thing I use it for.
Right.
But what's going to happen, and it always happens, and it's fine. It's part of the normal economic process is consolidation. When
Sure.
is Reed Hastings is still the CEO of Netflix?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Reed Reed Hastings, quick Google search. Yeah, Reed Hastings, I'm pretty sure is the founder. Yeah, he's the co-founder, chairman, and CEO, co-CEO of Netflix. And my prediction is when he's ready to retire, just before his retirement, Netflix will probably be bought by the likes of Apple, or Apple already owns, I think, Hulu and Disney, or significant shareholder of it. But these things they'll start to consolidate, or you know what, but maybe even Spotify. Can you imagine if
Yeah, they've
Spotify
got
bought
their own
Netflix?
issues to deal with. We could spend another hour on that, but
I know.
yeah,
But you can see that there, market consolidation is a normal process, normally occurring process, anyways.
yeah,
But they'll start to consolidate, and then the cable, the feared cable plan will probably resurface someday, maybe.
yeah. And we're getting close to the end of our session here. I wanted to. Did you ever hear the story about how they started Amazon Prime and Bezos got the idea for it? He
No.
actually had gone out to dinner with the CEO of Costco, and they were joking about the idea of the Costco membership and how ridiculous it was that Costco could charge people a membership fee for the privilege of coming and buying things at their store. And they kind of they were joking about it, actually kind of mocking the customer in a way. And Bezos was like, oh yeah, I should probably do that for Amazon. And they were joking about it. And that's how Prime started. It's basically, let's see how stupid consumers are. Let's see if they're dumb enough to pay $100 a year for the privilege of shopping on my website. And
So,
well,
so I would say that that's funny, and my wife and I just finally agreed that we stopped going to Costco. It was novel at first. I bet you they have a pretty steep drop off, actually. When we were members for a couple of years,
mhm,
and the value just wasn't there to maintain the membership. We don't need to buy bulk peanut butter, and you know they just didn't have, the value proposition wasn't there, so we actually didn't renew, a couple, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. And I don't think we will, because the value is not there. Devil's advocate, I would say that kind of Amazon Prime does have the value. I mean, Prime shipping alone. I mean, I I am ashamed to admit that I rarely price shop anymore when I need something. Batteries. I just bought slippers. Like I'm like, oh, my slippers are beat. They're way past due, and I needed new slippers. I just went to Amazon. I just did some shopping, and could I've saved $5 on a pair of slippers? Maybe, but the Prime shipping is so reliable. It's so reliable. I mean, we're going to Cancun next week, and I bought shorts well, that was Banana Republic, but what else? So I think my wife was buying, she bought like six pairs of six bathing suits, and returned all but one that she didn't want. Maybe she kept two. I don't know, but I don't know. There's value in that, the Prime shipping alone, and then and then the digital services that come with a Prime membership. Yeah, and I'm not even selling it. I'm just saying, like, this is practically, there's value there. So maybe if there is a inflection point, I think, where the Prime membership. I mean, 140. That's a pretty big jump. I mean,
yeah, it is.
that a $20 jump for a service like that it's pretty ballsy. I mean,
It
so we'll
is.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I figured out it's still 10, 12, $12 a month. It's not terrible, I guess. I guess it depends on the volume of stuff that you're getting. I guess in that way, it's like Costco, right? I mean, if you're got a family of 8 or whatever, and you're constantly needing things and ordering stuff, if you're a single person, it might not
But
be the
I mean,
route you
don't
go.
forget, you can still buy all the products and services that
Mhm.
Amazon sells without the Prime membership.
Right.
You can still get standard shipping, but man, the shipping. Do you do a lot of shopping on
We
Amazon?
do.
Do you know
Yeah.
that Prime shipping, that it's my sister was all into this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and she's like, I only shop. I have an what she say? I have an unhealthy relationship with Amazon,
Yeah.
and or an abusive relationship with Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all into it. It's just so easy, just
Mhm.
so easy. And I have Amazon Echo devices in every room of our house now, and I've converted them all to screens, and it's wonderful. I sync our phone photo albums to Amazon Photos, and that's included with the Prime with unlimited storage, and it's amazing. We have digital photo frames all over the house, and even on our TVs we have Fire Sticks as the predominant tool that we use for TV viewing, and it's wonderful. All of my photos just circulate around the house.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
All right. Well, tell
So we
us
can
what you
keep
do and
waxing poetic here on
yeah.
Prime, but I guess we'll call it a day. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I got to get going here. So yeah. So tell us where to find you.
Yeah, so I'm Eric Buhrendorf, the CEO and senior consultant at EVERNET Consulting. We're a business IT services consulting company all over America. Find me at evernetcode.com. Schedule your first discovery call with me personally right on our website there.
The brand new calendar app, right?
Right.
I'm Brian Williams from Northshire Consulting, which is an investment advisory firm. We work with small businesses on the retirement plan side and individuals and families. So you can find us at northshire.com, northshireconsulting.com with our calendar on there. And for YouTube presence and Facebook, we use 401k and beyond. That's kind of the avenue we've went down there and the name we've adopted. So that's our YouTube channel where we post different financial topics, mutual fund reviews, that sort of stuff. And our Facebook group where people can ask questions and we can answer them to the best of our ability, very generally, not specific investment advice, of course, but we can share people in similar situations, what they've done. So that's who we are and where to find us. And from next week, you'll be broadcasting from where?
Yeah, so we're leaving on Wednesday the 16th. So
Okay.
I'll be here Monday next week, and it'll be the following week I'll be in Cancun, and you and I will, I'll try to do recording in board shorts and a tank top and see how that works out. So forgive me if we may not do a show if it doesn't work out 2 weeks from now.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bri. Have a good weekend or week.